It's been 5 years since Meghan Markle stepped away from the gates of Buckingham Palace, walking into what was supposed to be a life of freedom. At least, that's what the world believed. With the strict rules of royal life behind her, she had the stage, the platform, and the influence to tell her story, champion causes close to her heart, and create her own path to greatness. But instead of becoming the humanitarian force she once seemed destined to be, much like the woman she was so often compared to, Princess Diana, Meghan took a quieter road. No fiery speeches, no groundbreaking campaigns, no bold declarations. Just silence. And, as the press liked to joke, a kitchen apron. But let's rewind for a moment. Remember Meghan's royal debut? She was instantly branded as the new Diana. Headlines painted her as a modern-day princess, a breath of fresh air, from her clothes to her jewelry, even her charitable appearances. Everything seemed designed to mirror Diana's unforgettable image. Yet over time, that carefully crafted narrative started to fall apart. Meghan wasn't walking Diana's path, she was only dressing the part. And behind palace doors, that didn't go unnoticed. Prince William, future king and fiercely protective son, reportedly drew a firm boundary. Meghan, he decided, would never wear any of Diana's iconic jewelry, not the necklaces, not the rings. And certainly not Diana's cherished gold Cartier watch. In William's eyes, Meghan hadn't earned the honor. She wasn't royal by action, and she wasn't royal in spirit. Here's where things get interesting. The media had been duped for months, maybe even years. They splashed photos of Meghan wearing what they believed to be Diana's treasured timepiece. The coverage was glowing, a touching tribute to Diana, they wrote. But there was just one problem. The watch was a fake. A convincing imitation, yes, but a fake nonetheless. When that truth came out, William acted swiftly. Publications were told to print quiet corrections. Subtle retractions slipped into follow-up articles. Meghan had never worn Diana's real watch. She had only made it look that way. And in a family where symbolism is everything, that illusion cut deep. Meghan was reportedly furious. She tried to spin the narrative, leaning on familiar strategies, claims of unfair treatment, a misunderstood outsider persona, even whispers of discrimination. But William didn't budge. He'd seen through the act from the start. While his younger brother, Harry, became further entangled in the chaos, William remained unshaken, guarding his mother's memory with a quiet strength rarely displayed by royals. And this wasn't about a watch. It was about meaning. Diana's legacy wasn't built on what she wore, it was built on compassion, courage, and authenticity. Meghan had every opportunity to embody those values, but instead seemed more focused on optics than substance. Rather than carrying forward Diana's mission, she appeared to be curating an image of herself, calculated imitation rather than a heartfelt tribute. For William, this wasn't flattery. It was exploitation. By contrast, Catherine, Princess of Wales, wears Diana's pieces not as accessories, but as symbols of trust and respect. She's earned that right, not through headlines, but through years of loyalty, service, and grace. Meghan, no matter how dazzling her PR strategy, never earned the same respect. The situation escalated further during Meghan and Harry's Netflix series. In one memorable scene, Meghan is seen shaping pottery, casually showing off the gold watch, subtly framed to appear as if it were Diana's. The implication was clear. The press ran with it, praising Meghan for honoring Diana's memory. But when palace insiders confirmed the watch wasn't real, it set off alarm bells. How many other tributes had been staged? How many illusions had been sold to the public as truth? William's patience finally snapped. Corrections were printed, quiet but cutting. The message was crystal clear. Diana's memory would not be turned into a marketing prop. Not while William was alive to protect it. Meghan didn't correct the record sheet, never does. That's part of her strategy. Drop an image, let the speculation swirl, then stay silent as headlines create their own story. But William wasn't playing along. And when a future king speaks, even in whispers, the world listens. What seemed like a trivial feud over jewelry had become something much deeper, battle over narrative, identity, and legacy. Meghan was learning the hard way. You can't borrow someone else's story forever, especially not Diana's. This wasn't just about a watch. It was about principles. To Meghan, legacy often seemed like a costume, something you could wear, post, and promote. But to William, Diana's legacy is sacred. And when something sacred is treated like a prop, there are consequences. Insiders say William has always been protective of Diana's collection, not out of selfishness but out of reverence. Those pieces carry memories, emotions, and history. After Harry and Meghan's wedding, dividing the collection wasn't a sentimental family moment. It was a negotiation. William had the final say, and Meghan, whether she liked it or not, wasn't going to parade around in his mother's memory. Making matters worse, Meghan reportedly didn't take the jewelry ban quietly. She allegedly lashed out, playing victim and even insinuating discrimination. But William wasn't swayed. He saw it for what it was: manipulation. And he wasn't going to let that rewrite reality. Still, Meghan persisted. At public events, she wore jewelry eerily similar to Diana's most beloved pieces. Watches, earrings, rings, all carefully chosen to spark speculation and feed the media narrative. And it worked, until William ensured the truth was exposed. That quiet correction in a magazine might have seemed small, but it was deliberate. It was a surgical strike, precise and powerful. William was sending a message to Meghan, the press, and the entire world. Diana's legacy is not a costume, and if you try to fake your way into it, you'll be called out. It's a sad story, really. Meghan had every chance to create something meaningful, to use her platform for real impact, advocating for education, women's rights, humanitarian causes. Instead of building her own identity, she tried to inherit Diana's. Instead of earning respect, she tried to borrow it. And that's why she'll never truly be Diana, because Diana's greatness wasn't about fashion or jewelry, it was about heart. William isn't perfect. No royal is. But in this battle, he's done something rare. He's stood firm for something that matters. He's defended his mother's memory, not through PR or documentaries, but with quiet conviction. He understands the line between tribute and exploitation, and he's made it clear he won't tolerate the latter. Harry's silence in all of this is heartbreaking in its own way. Once fiercely protective of his mother's legacy, he now stands on the sidelines as it's used for clout. Whether out of love, loyalty, or confusion, he's become a background player in his own family's history. Meanwhile, Meghan's performance continues, one staged photo, one fake narrative at a time, but the illusion is cracking, and the audience is beginning to see the truth. In the end, the true treasures of Diana's legacy aren't diamonds or watches. They're integrity, dignity, and authenticity. And those are things Meghan never had, but William always did. And that's why she was never truly allowed to wear them.